Canberra Metalheads.
The Archives.
Me and You Season 2. Alright, let's kick it.
Welcome to the interview section of Canberra Metalheads. You got Marky Malphas
and JDecay.
We join here with Todd from Psycroptic.
Hello, everybody. What's happening?
Welcome back, Todd.
Thanks for having me.
Dude, it's good
I feel like we're just here.
Yeah, wasn't that long ago, man.
Yeah, it was like August, right?
That's right, man. It was good to, have you on here before, and now everyone will recognise your voice, I guess.
I hope so. It's sick.
Well, it's the second time we've had you on, and also we've had, I think, one other international band. We had the guys from Bell Witch.
Yeah, I heard about that tour. With they were out with Conan.
Conan,
right?
yeah.
And that came here?
They came here, man.
How was it?
Yeah, that was rad, dude.
Yeah, it was excellent.
I've never seen Bell Witch.
Yeah, man. It was like slow, progressive doom, man.
Gotcha.
Very progressive.
Nice.
But yeah, they we were chatting about how they were you were the first international band member to be on the show. They were the first international band. Now we got you back again.
Perfect. Love it.
Yeah, rad, man. No, it's always... Look, I'm not going to complain about having you twice here in 1 year,
Oh, no.
dude.
Trust me. I'm down. To me, it makes the day more fun to do interviews and shit like that.
That's it. Well, it hasn't been that long since you were here last, but...
Well, I mean, there's some new stuff. We got a new
Well,
record out. We're playing new songs on the road.
That's it, dude.
That's
We kind of talked about the new record before when we were on the show, just because you were in that sort of stage of finishing it up and things like that.
It was just... Yeah, it was about... It was in that stage where the label is just... kind of choosing a release date and prepping like the promo packages and all that shit. But I'm pretty sure it was done by then. I can't really remember, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, we've played a couple tracks on the show before, man.
Gotcha.
So it's everyone out there's listening so far.
Any favorites? Any?
Man, we're just probably keen to see it live, to be honest.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, we're doing probably almost half our set is new stuff, but it was a bit of a challenge choosing which songs we were going to put into the live set because there's a couple we released as singles. And you don't want to neglect the fact that you already put these ones out. You want to push them a little bit harder. But sometimes I don't know if they're the strongest songs to play live. But we didn't rehearse more than what we got ready for this tour.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So it's been ages since there are songs I've never played together with them.
Yeah, right.
Heaps of them, you know?
Well, I guess it's one of the things about technology and stuff. You get to kind of practice across, online and things like that.
The idea is just do your homework and show up prepared, but there's a ton of songs that I've never rehearsed with these guys, you know?
Yeah, man.
So if we ever want to change the set list, it's kind of like, fuck, gotta be on top of your game.
Yeah, dude. We had Dave call into the show just a couple of shows back.
Okay.
And just had a bit of a chat about, practicing and rehearsal and stuff like that and having such a stretched band.
Right.
How that all works. But it seems like it still all comes together, man.
I think it's kind of like a trust exercise, you know?
Yeah.
You just got to make sure that you have faith in your boys that they're all going to be on. I mean, I'm the last in line. It's Joe and... See, Dave lives in Melbourne. Pep and Joe live in Tassie. And I live in the States. So they can have a rehearsal before I show up. That's fine.
Yeah.
I just have to let the guys know, like, yeah, I'm good on X, Y, and Z. We can play this, and
man.
that. And if you want to add something, fucking tell me now, because I need as much time with the songs as I can.
Exactly, man.
You know? But Dave has his own rehearsal space in Melbourne. Just a drum room, really.
Yeah, right.
So, and we all just kind of play along to the record. And we played a click track, so there's never any variation in like live tempo versus how you'd hear the songs on the recordings and shit like that. So essentially, if you practice along to the records, it's the same thing as keeping tight with the guys live at the stage, you know?
Yeah, that's good to hear, man. Well, before we're talking about, it's the first major release you've had in the 3 years you've been in the band.
Right.
Well, you feel like, I think mentioned before that this is... The band's taken a direction which you're happy about anyway.
Totally.
So, I mean, it's good to hear it's all starting to click, man.
I think that people have responded really well to the new songs live, but I only have like 6 shows to judge that by.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are in places that I've never been to, nor have I even fucking heard of. So you have like Warrnambool, Geelong, Ballarat.
Yo.
So doing the big log this time.
Just country ass towns. Where's the other one I'm missing? What am I thinking of that I didn't name already? We did one in Adelaide. We did one in Melbourne.
Yep.
And then what was last night?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
I was just looking at the large
we were
scale.
in Wodonga last night.
Wodonga.
It's like-
Oh, right.
And the fans would come up to Merch and say, "It's so cool that you guys come to our hometown." Like, no, but nobody comes here. I'm like, I'm sure of it. I've never even heard of the place.
Man, Wodonga. I'll just give it 2 seconds. Yeah. Fucking Wodonga's real close to Wagga Wagga, and Wagga Wagga is really cool for live shows. Almost similar size venue to here.
Right.
Yeah, and Albury also has quite a good scene. They're quite close.
No. Well,
So-
you know what? The shows are strong. They're just tiny.
Yeah,
We
man.
played Sports Pub last night.
Yeah.
It was rad because these dudes are like 20 years into the game of being in this band, but they still have like that punk rock attitude. Like, let's just play. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Get up
man.
and smash it.
It's almost like a basement show vibe, which is, if you've been doing it since you were a teenager, you remember that that's kind of what got you into it in
Yeah,
the
man.
first place. You know.
Exactly, man.
So sometimes those could be the most fun shows ever.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like most performances. Like, for example, I do comedy on the side, and you get like dudes that have been doing it for years
Yep.
that are like just happy with their crowd, their material, their place, like, and they're just rolling through that. And then dudes that are like, oh man, I've been doing it for 12 months, but I want to be in the Melbourne Comedy Festival. You know what I mean? So it's like kind of that dynamic. But you notice that the dudes that are happy with their crowd and
Right.
working on material actually it'll be the equivalent to like an old punk band that has like a shredder in there, just like you know, that can just handle an axe, and probably could be in, you know, a band playing for stadiums, but he's cool just doing his thing, you know.
Well, it's nice to be able to be eligible for both.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I mean, any band can get their shit together and go play basement punk rock shows,
Yep.
in my opinion, but that's not the point. It's just, it's a fun thing to do that you kind of really, it always has a special place in your heart. You can go from doing like the Download Festival we
Yep.
did earlier this year where there's, I don't know, however many thousand people watching,
Yep.
but it's not as quite as intimate, or whatever. There's different reasons to enjoy different
Yeah, dude.
types of shows to play.
Yeah, man.
But I'm just saying, this one specifically has been really small shows in really small markets. But it's rad because it's a nice way to test out how these new songs are going to go live. And we got a heap of shit coming up.
Yeah,
You never know what to expect. Because to me, this record it does stand out. It's very different, especially with the female vocals.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, okay. Well, see, that's the thing, man. Like, if you change it up a little bit, it makes it, you know, it catches your ear. Something might, you know, get your attention.
Well, I think it's certainly catchy. I just don't. Metalheads don't always play that shit.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know how else to say it. You know?
I know what you mean. Man.
But and now we have like we have an extra thing to throw in the mix, which is like we're not gonna. We're putting the female vocals on a backing track live, which is
Yep.
kind of like a necessary evil. Which it's fine. It is what it is. You know. I don't know what people would be more offended by, listening to a band where there's no female vocalist on stage, but you're hearing the female vocals
Yeah.
anyway, or them going to see the songs live that they got stoked on, and then it just doesn't sound quite the same because it's missing a huge element.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, man. I think we might have mentioned this before on the show, but who was it that did the female vocals?
Joe's wife.
Yeah, okay.
So it's not that she's going to come on the road with us just to sing the choruses for 4 of the. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
But
what you mean.
Extra mouth to feed.
well, yeah, extra
person
everything,
to fit into the bus.
extra everything, extra airfare, extra everything. But not to mention the fact that she's got a million things to do that are probably more, you know, appealing to her than coming on the road to sing a few choruses. But I'm just speculating on that. But yeah, it is what it is. So I think that we chose. They're like, all right, this is the most accurate representation of how the songs are going to be live. As well.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I figure that's hopefully it doesn't rub anyone the wrong way. I guess is my point.
Oh, dude, like I'm sure the fans will like receive it well anyway. And I'm sure they can understand that, like, you know.
I don't even know if people think about it like that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
2018.
But the other thing is
People
too,
play
like,
backtracks.
as a band, you look at that with more scrutiny, maybe. But then as a fan, you look at that like, I love that song. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's you don't have it the same level of like scrutiny that the band might look at it. It's like, for example, if you ever seen a band like drop a note or something like that.
Of course.
They get off stage and sorry man, I messed up that note.
And you're like, what? That was
What-
great.
what happened, man?
Well, that's a matter
know?
of perspective always. Plus, anyone that I know that, they people who play music are usually their own worst critics anyway.
Yeah, no.
You know.
Yeah, exactly, dude. That's the thing, and that's also what helps you progress.
I kind of stopped doing that. I remember a time in my life where you'd get off stage and if someone were to go out of their way to pay you a compliment, say, hey, great set or whatever, you're like, I sucked tonight.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm not trying to hear that. If I tell someone that they played a great set and they're going to be a bitch about it, no, it wasn't perfect, or fuck you. So I kind of realized at a certain point, like, that's what I sound like. Never do that. You know what I mean? Just fucking, people are going out of their way to be nice to you. Just thanks, man.
Yeah, that's
Oh, dude,
Keep it to yourself if you got a problem with how the set went.
Massive tips, man. That's
Awesome.
awesome.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. Like, and I've had it as well. Not with music, but like back to comedy. I do that sometimes. I'll be like, dude, you crushed it tonight. And he'd be like, that bit. Did you see that chick wasn't looking like she was enjoying it?
Right, totally.
You're just like, who cares about that?
Of course you notice that. Yeah.
Like you see that. Actually, Stanhope came here, Doug Stanhope.
I love Stanhope.
Dude, he came to Canberra and played at one of the venues here.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my mates supported for him.
No shit.
Yeah, dude. And he just so apparently what Stanhope will do is he'll just choose someone from the local comedians
Good for
list.
him.
And so my buddy got up there and supported him, man, and he nailed it as well. And he said Stanhope goes out there and crushes it for an hour and a half. And he comes back and he's like, yeah, I'm still trying to work on that whole set.
Right.
And everyone's just going, what? Like,
that's how it goes.
Yeah, man.
That's how it goes. It's
so
like
I think you hit a point even when you're like pro like Stanhope, like pretty much in the top comedians in the world, and you're still kind of criticizing your set.
I think that is a universal thing. It spans across all formats. It's not a coincidence to me that the most talented dudes that I know in this game are also the most modest.
Yep.
In fact, it's kind of like if someone's flexes about how good they think they are, they're usually not as good as they think they are, or they get points taken off for being a cockhead anyways. You know what I mean?
Or they like. I
You
think
got guys like Joe, who's like he's like a rock and roll god to me, you know.
Yeah.
And if you were to talk to him about his playing, he'd be like,
the most humble dude I've met, man.
ever,
Super quiet.
ever. It makes you wonder, like, does this motherfucker know how sick he is?
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, every time he's like,
Yeah.
man, he's super nice guy.
Yeah. So, yeah, the best players are usually really, really harsh on themselves, and I'm sure that goes for anyone. It doesn't matter whether you're a comedian or a musician or whatever, but it's definitely, I think that being a performer comes with, built into the whole fabric of this thing is that, like, there's going to be a bit of self-doubt involved, you know? And everyone has insecurities. I guess you just fucking deal with them differently, you know?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, dude. I know that, like, that's what pushes you forward.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're coming off going like nailed it, if not everyone around you saying that,
Mm-hmm.
it's nearly like you haven't pushed to make it better.
Totally.
I feel like it's a job that's never finished.
Oh, it'll never
you
be
know
finished.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
But that to me, that's a cool thing about it. That's a cool thing to think about. It's like no matter how good you perform, or no matter how proud you are of a new release that you just put out or something like that, it can always be better. Or you could always get, even if it's like a detail that's not. I wish the kick drum sounded different on this album. It's not even the performance.
Yeah.
It could be anything. But yeah, I guess that's like the desire to create something that's like ultimately 10 out of 10. I think is what drives people to get the fulfillment that they're looking to get out of this in the first place. You know?
yeah, and like so between albums, man, you've been kicking it back over in the States. What have you been up to? Any other projects or anything?
I just honestly at this point I just work a ton in between tours. So I used to play in a million bands and try to keep up with doing a million things. I still try to do a million things, but before I was spread really thin musically, and ever since I kind of officially joined Psycroptic, I got to the point in my life where I realized there's not enough time or money or resources to be in 20 bands and try to do tours with different acts and put out different I'm just Psycroptic is my one and only right now, and I feel like it'll be that way for quite some time. We're at the beginning of a very important album launch. This is their 7th EP, and it's the beginning of a world tour, you know. So we'll start here. We'll do Europe next year. We'll do the States next year, and then I think everyone wants to kind of break new ground and do shit that we haven't really done yet.
Yep.
South America, whatever.
Cool.
I mean, I'm just kind of
throwing
it out there. We don't have any of it confirmed yet, but so in order for the band to be as good as it can be, I think everyone is just kind of focused on doing that. And when I'm between tours and I'm in the States, I work 2 different jobs, mostly doing like renovation and remodeling like that.
Yeah.
And I'm just 24/7 trying to hustle and keep focused, because it's easy to I guess to just fall off track and I just want to be good at what we're doing. And I have a chick, and we've been dating for almost like 2 years, but she lives in Canada, so I kind of have to spend some energy on that as well, which is a good thing for
it pulls
me.
You up a little bit sometimes.
It's a reason for me to like keep my act together.
Yeah.
Whereas if not working 80 hours a week and I'm single and I'm just kind of more like I'll party more, or I'll be going to every single social event, or out all night drinking. And right now, I can't be doing that.
That's I'm like you if you didn't have the missus.
Right.
Like, I do like multiple jobs. I got this and a day job. I run the podcast and I do comedy, as well as I do some sport, play ice hockey and things like that. So
awesome.
So before you know it, you've done like 70, 80-hour weeks, and you 5 days a week at the gym, an hour a day.
Yep.
When you add it all up, you're like, wow, if I do the bare minimal, that's 70. If I put in a little extra effort, there's 80.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So how am I finding time to sleep? So I know where you're coming from, because that's me right now.
Totally. I used to spend a ton of time just like drinking with my mates and shit like that, and I miss it a lot of times.
Yeah.
But I save that for the road, because you're at a show every day.
Yeah. And
even now, partying on the road isn't anything close to what it used to be when I was like in my 20s. But
man.
At least you don't have the 6 a.m. wake up call. Like sometimes you do. A lot of times doing tours out here, we fly every other. I don't know. On this one, we're doing a lot of driving, but normally Australian tours is a ton of flying in, which means super early lobby calls. So if you're gonna get all boozed up and be a piece of shit, then you gotta be tough.
Yeah, dude. That's it. One day I might find someone that bloody puts a stop to all this madness, but for now, I'm just who knows? 2 years after that, I might be the dude that says, "Hey, man, she calmed me down." But for now, it's just.
I totally understand. Yeah, I was always the type to like fly by the seat of my pants, and now I'm kind of realizing that like mid-30s, I'm trying to be a bit more disciplined, and I learn a lot from the dudes in this band as well. So.
That's cool.
Dave especially, he's like a real mentor to me. He's very, very disciplined. He's the type of dude that wakes up at 4 a.m. to go run 10 kilometers. Which, why? You know? But he does it because I think it sets his mind right, and I think that once you feel accomplished, you have enough confidence to kind of face the world and do whatever you're going to do.
Yeah,
so
for sure, man.
there's like psychological reasons to do. I'm learning that as you get older, like in order to perform at your optimum, you kind of have to get everything firing on all cylinders. And in order for me to do that, I have to really focus on like just instead of trying to be okay at a billion things, I'd rather just be really solid at a few. And I'm kind of just reprioritizing according to that. And Psycroptic is at the very top of my list because of that. So just want to be good. As far as performing these songs, they're kind of demanding, So this band's always been on that tip. Like the material's always kind of tough. Yeah. So as far as playing it, and as far as just being able to kick ass on the road's not really for everybody, I don't really think it's all that rough, but you just want to be fucking.
We mentioned it before. Like, some people, it's just like, you can get talent, but can they be on the road?
Right.
When especially you know exactly what it's like.
Right.
Coming into a band that's already established, it's like not so much just the skill level. It's like, do you have what it takes to tour as well?
Absolutely. That's a huge element.
Yep. Because like,
Can you stand to be around?
yeah,
each other?
exactly.
Yeah, oh
man.
yeah,
As a
100%.
family, being
Personalities,
family,
100%.
you know what I mean?
That's the vibe that this band totally kind of has. It's like, I mean, it's not a story you haven't heard before. Lots of bands are that way. We treat each other like family. We also bust each other's balls and kind of let each other have it. But it's a super friendly work environment where nobody's ever really a cunt to be around, ever. You know, you get zero complaints touring with these dudes. It's like a dream come true. Everyone does their job, you know, and not for nothing, but I have a long history of being in bands with singers who are useless. That's never a problem with this band, you know. There's a whole heap that you can keep yourself busy doing, and people just don't get it. But here, it's like you're right at home, you know. Pep shows up, does a billion things. He's building scrims and sorting out merch, and I don't know, just everyone kind of knows their responsibility, does it, and you don't have no one ever has to be told what to do. No one needs direction. There's no idiots, you know.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
It sounds like it's well established.
It sounds like it should be a given, but with musicians, it's not, because they're children, you know.
Yeah, that's it, man. It's good to hear everything's clicking, man. So
Oh, totally.
We'll wrap it up with that, dude. And we're like always a pleasure to have you on
Killer,
the show,
man.
bro.
No doubt. I'd be glad to do it anytime. Thank you for having
absolutely,
me.
man.
Love that. Okay, cool,
All right.
man.
Thanks for coming on, Todd.
Thank you. Cheers.
All right, bro. Take it easy.
Rock and roll. This is Todd from Psycroptic, and you're listening to Canberra Metalheads.
Hello and welcome to the interview section of Canberra Metalheads. You got Marky Malphas and
JDecay.
we're joined here in the touring rig at the back of the basement with the guys from Immorium. So starting from my right, we've got Jared and Dan. In the front, we got
Dutch.
cool. Got the you got your 2-string and also your skin blast there. We don't have Nick here, so that's the -1, but or Dave as well. So we can see Dave, but he's not in the interview.
Dave's not here, man.
But anyway, it's good to have you guys here on the show again.
Thanks for having us back. Thanks for
Yeah.
having us again.
It's been a while, actually. I think you guys would be the second repeat, the first repeat band on the show. So
Yeah, excellent.
yeah,
Nice. Always
So-
happy to be a part of it.
yeah, man. Well, after the last time you were on, that rad video went up. Got some good hype for that one.
Yeah, awesome.
And here you are again, about to support one of the biggest names in metal as far as the scene goes. We've got Kamelot playing here tonight, and you guys are going up before those guys and getting on the stage, sharing it with them. How's that feel to share the stage with Kamelot tonight?
It's absolutely amazing, mate. When we first applied for the show, we thought it was a bit of a long shot, but we've rubbed shoulders with some fairly important people in the industry, it would seem, and those who we did approach said they actually caught our show at Dragon Force last year, and they were quite impressed with that, and they said they were more than happy to put us to the top of the list. So for us to be able to have an opportunity like this is really, really good to have put some stripes on our resume, essentially, and to play with Valhalla as well. Like, absolutely chuffed. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Well, yeah, like you picked up there, we're not just got one big name here. We've got multiple. So that's another stripe on the belt,
Yeah,
like you
it's
said.
sure to be a big night, man. We're really, really looking forward to it.
Kamelot have probably brought the biggest production to the basement so far, so it's good to be a part of that,
Yeah.
environment and be able to, see what they do.
Watch and learn from the best.
Yeah, definitely watch and learn because they are a seasoned metal band. I've been listening to Kamelot since I was 15.
Yep.
So very, very big band, and watching from them is definitely going to be a learning aspect for us.
Exactly, man. Yeah, I've seen all the tech nerds, Jay included, checking out the kit.
Oh yeah.
They had some nice campers there, bro. Did you see that?
That whole rack is just like amazing to look at. Just to be able to bring the whole band in just one travelling case would be just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to see how the big guys do it, I guess. Yeah, that's exactly it, man. You guys,
I like to have a gear perv every time, man.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you guys.
Sexy boys and sexy amps.
You guys are going up to sound check after the interview, so that'll be good to have you up on the stage and thrashing it out for the sound check.
Hell yeah. Yeah, cracker.
and also sharing it with some of the, like you mentioned, some of the bigger names, and also getting it like off the Dragon Force gig is cool, because we had you on the show after the Dragon Force gig, and now I've got you before Kamelot, so it goes hand in hand with, you know, getting you at a point in time.
Yeah, definitely. The bands we're supporting internationally are definitely on the power metal side rather than our sound, but we seem to make a good diverse approach, so we bring in a few of our own crowd, which is nice to see, which adds more people to the show. So we're very happy and privileged to be a part of this, you know, production. So can't complain too much there, of course.
Yeah, exactly, man. And also, like you mentioned, with a diverse sound, you can go with multiple different bands, but also there'd be some some crossover. Like I can appreciate the fact that like people that like Kamelot would also like Immorium and vice versa as well. So you get some good crossover.
I'm hoping so, with our melodic aspect, especially from Jared and Dan with their leads and stuff. Definitely give that cross pollination, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a good word for it.
The cross pollination. Yeah, exactly, man. And just on a side note, a lot of you guys were here last night as well for the Psycroptic gig as well. Some crossover. Had Jared here as part of the Claret Ash. So I'm glad to be behind the bar, giving him the band discount for the second night in a row.
I think that's going to happen for both of us.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's right as well. You're here with Deb. So it's good to see some faces for the second time around.
Jared will attest to doubling up 2 nights in a row really takes its toll on you, but you can imagine what it must be like for these big bands on the road, eh, mate?
Yeah. I mean, day in, day out, tour time, bro.
Hey,
I don't do much else throughout the day. They come in a sound check and
Oh, dude, like
play.
Jared's like kicking it all this time, man. I've seen him up on the stage before. It's nearly like he's built for it, man. This is like fitting straight in the second night in a row. It nearly feels like I haven't left, man. It's been like a 2-day party for everybody.
It's funny, I haven't been to the basement for about 6 months, not because I haven't wanted to, but we haven't been since Cradle of Filth played here, just physically been here.
Yeah.
And now, I was saying to Dutch as we arrived, saying to Nick as we arrived, I've been here 3 times in a week. 2 of the nights back to back. It's ridiculous.
Even since Cradle of Filth, man, the place has changed a little bit since then. Even like they've extended and all that sort of stuff. So it's evolving constantly, and that opens it up to have bigger gigs, you know, like Kamelot, like you mentioned Cradle of Filth before. So yeah, that's rad. Getting some of the bigger bands.
Puts Canberra on the map too. Makes it appeal. Other bands that are looking to tour Australia tend to avoid Canberra because it's a bit smaller, or they don't really have the venues to house the sort of crowds that they're used to playing. But when we get the likes of Dragon Force or Cradle of Filth coming through, and now Kamelot, you know, bigger bands are noticing, and they're looking forward to actually making Canberra part of their tour, which is awesome for us. And Canberra really brings it, even though it might be a Wednesday or a Thursday night.
Yeah.
So it's great to see Canberra doing that. Keep doing that, Canberra. It's good.
Yeah, keep doing that, Canberra. I definitely, like, you see Cradle of Filth, the last time they were out, they played in Sydney. Kamelot, last time they were out, they played in Sydney. Now both of them have come through Canberra as well on their way down to whichever city they're going to, Sydney, Melbourne. If they're coming up from Melbourne, they pass Canberra. If you're going from Sydney to Melbourne, you're going down past Canberra. So everyone's jumping in, and it's definitely nice to be a part of that scene, and definitely nice to be a part of the international support acts, definitely, because it puts us on the map, and it puts our music out there. So I'm hoping that more and more people come out to our shows and definitely listen to the album and check it out. We've got it on Spotify and every other digital, you know, interface you can get on these days. So definitely get on that, get on the Facebook, hit us up if you want a physical copy. I think we have a few left lying around somewhere, but yeah, definitely a good thing to be playing with these bands that originally would only go through Sydney and Melbourne, and now you're seeing them come through Canberra as well.
And on festivals and stuff like
that.
Oh,
definitely.
Did you guys see the video from the 2008 Wacken when Kamelot played?
Yeah, look, I've been following Kamelot since, like I said, since I was 15, and watching their stuff. They get huge crowds.
Yeah.
Massive flamethrowers, everything, you know.
It looks really inclusive as well. Like, it's cool to see a crowd getting into it, and you know, sort of, you know, singing along, like things like that.
Definitely sing-along bands, these ones.
Yeah. It creates a good atmosphere, I think, and gives you that motivation to just like play that little bit just to squeeze out that last bit of energy from everybody and things like that?
Yeah, definitely. Like the 110% is kind of what we do with every show. Like you're only up there for half an hour, 45 minutes. Why not push it as hard as you can and then recuperate after the next day? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
There's no issue with doing that.
Well, as we can see, then a couple of days later, if you got a few double headers coming up, you know,
I'll be sore tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly, man. So, do you use the same kit for Deprivation and Immorium?
Personally, I have 2 kits, and I alternate between those depending on which one I feel like using. But primarily, yeah, I use the same kit. Tonight, I'm actually using Valhalla's kit, which is definitely going to be a lot of fun and a bit interesting to play with because it's a bit different. But you know, you make what you do. I'm sure that every other musician here can attest for having to be put on the spot and using something different every time and just doing what making do with what you've got.
Yep.
So
yeah, and still producing good sound, man.
Exactly.
Well, it's good to mix it up, and also good to see you just adapting to new kit and new backline and still smashing it out. What about you boys? You use different guitars? I know you're both in 2 different bands as well.
Yes. Yeah. So in MO we use 7 strings.
Yep.
And in Claret last night 6s, so completely different tunings, different guitars, heaps different. And I know Depp also playing completely different tunings as well, so they're 6 strings as well.
Oh right.
So yeah.
Okay.
It's good to sort of cross playing different genres as well. Like Depp's a much groovier band than Immorium. Immorium's got a little bit, it sort of spans the middle between Claret, which is a lot more black metal, and Deprivation, which is a lot more sort of groove stuff, as I said. But like Immorium sort of like spans a bit of both. There's a lot of melodic stuff in Immorium and a lot of groovy stuff in Immorium, but there's quite a lot of fast stuff as well. And for us, playing the 7s on the 7 strings, Jared and I both play Schecters. There's so much diversity that we can actually, so much range that we can play on the guitar. We can play really high, sort of happier sounding music, and we can get right into the real heavy stuff as well and really get some heads banging. So it's sort of infinite, and because we're in different bands, we get that opportunity to play different styles, which is good for the good for our morale as well, because we get to play a little bit heavier stuff, we get to play some lighter stuff, and just playing different genres is good for writing down the track.
Yeah, getting the influence from
exactly.
That's
what I was looking for. Yeah.
You don't get stale with it either. Like drumming for just Immorium. Like it's a lot of fun, but then I've got Deprivation on the side and session work or whatever, and you get to play different things and enjoy different stuff. You work with different musicians. At the end of the day, you're just going to expand your learning, and you're going to expand your experiences. So can't complain with playing with multiple bands. It is sometimes a bit of a chore because you have to remember and learn a whole bunch of stuff, but when you're up on stage, that's where it counts.
And you'll obviously build on your sound by doing that as well, so
you develop your skills straight up.
It's like you're putting in more work, but you're obviously getting better results as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. Well, it's good to hear everyone's projects are going well, especially Immorium tonight. And I'm sure they'll be able to bring the fire to the stage, so that Kamelot can bring the physical fire to the stage after.
He's hoping they have fire.
Yeah, hopefully, man. I've seen some pyro stuff here before with Witch Grinder.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Yeah, and I've actually played Witch Grinder on the show once before, but that's the last time I've seen it. So if they bring some actual heat and fire to the stage, that'd be rad. But if not, man, I'm sure they'll definitely deliver on a good show.
Absolutely.
Yep. So you guys mentioned before you've on your album's on the digital platforms. You got Spotify and
iTunes, Amazon,
anywhere
you name
you can
it.
buy CDs online, we're on there.
Yeah, and it's good to have
all the streaming.
Good to have a couple of IT guys in the band that just help everything.
Staring at computer screens all day does get a bit dull, so you got to switch it up at some point.
Yep. Until this is a full-time thing, man, that'll bridge the gap.
I like your attitude.
That's what I like to hear, man. All right, well, thanks for coming on the show, guys. Make sure you check out Immorium, and if you haven't already liked their page, go and give it a thumbs up.
Or hit us up on the website as well, immorium.com.au. There's plenty of fun stuff on there as well.
Excellent. And also, make sure you support their gigs. If you see any gigs coming up, go and check it out. And thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Bam!